Hi, this is your host, and today's question is, I recently heard about the mysterious case of Lars Mittank from 2014. What happened to him? Join me as we look at the case together. First, let's examine the background of this case to see how Lars found himself in Bulgaria in the summer of 2014. So, on June 2014, Lars Mittank traveled to Bulgaria with 4 friends for a week-long vacation. They had been planning this trip for months and were excited to spend their time together in the coastal city of Varna. However, Lars' mood quickly turned sour after an altercation at a bar left him with a small cut above his left ear. According to Lars, he was approached by 2 men and 2 women in the bathroom of the club they had visited. The men demanded that Lars give them 10 euros. When he refused, a fight broke out. As a result of the scuffle, he received a small wound near his ear. The police report from the incident doesn't mention any weapons being used, injuries, or hospitalization. The Bulgarian authorities considered the matter closed. However, it would have an impact on Lars's mental state over the next few days. On June 29th, Lars's friends decided to fly back to Germany. However, because of his ear injury, Lars opted to stay behind. Before departing, Lars said to his friends that he planned to stay in his hotel and rest until his ear healed. On July, Lars sent a series of text messages to his mother, Christine, which indicated that he was behaving erratically and possibly under the influence of drugs. In one message, he wrote, "I think they are following me. The people from the hotel think I'm crazy." These comments suggested that Lars felt like he was being watched and stalked. His paranoia seemed to be intensifying. Another message read, "I think I might have taken a drug that puts you in a coma. I didn't take any pills. I think I've been drugged." This statement implied that he believed he had been the victim of foul play, possibly an attempt to harm him through a date rape drug. Lars continued sending messages to his mother, saying he was scared and that he had changed hotels. He also mentioned that his ear was hurting more than before. Christine became increasingly concerned about her son's behavior. She couldn't understand why he was still in Bulgaria. July was the last day Lars was seen alive. That morning, Lars left his hotel room and went to the airport in Varna. It was 8:26 a.m. when he entered the airport medical clinic. Less than 2 minutes later, he suddenly rushed out of the clinic, panicked. A witness described seeing him running and shouting in English, help me, they're killing me." To others, Lars appeared disheveled and distressed, suggesting that he had just witnessed or experienced something traumatic. As if in a complete panic, he ran through the terminal, knocking over and abandoning his luggage, a holdall and a backpack, as well as his passport and mobile phone. Passers-by, watching in confusion as a man who had arrived calm and collected only moments before, was now sprinting wildly around the airport. Lars left behind his wallet, containing his driver's license, credit cards, and cash. At 8:32 a.m., surveillance cameras captured Lars sprinting toward the glass doors leading outside the airport. He paused momentarily to look back at the entrance. A few seconds later, he sprinted out into the parking lot, passing parked cars and moving toward a wooded area. Despite being barefoot and without identification, Lars somehow managed to scale a 2-meter-high fence bordering the runway. From here, he disappeared into the trees. A witness recalled seeing Lars in the forest. He said, "I saw the foreigner barefoot and soaked in sweat, jumping over bushes and leaping across the grass. It looked like something you see in action movies. I thought he was trying to escape from the police or from someone who wanted to kill him. He kept looking over his shoulder as if afraid someone was chasing him." Later, police confirmed that Lars had not been followed by anyone. The airport security guards immediately contacted the police after witnessing Lars run out of the airport. By the time the police arrived at the scene, he had vanished. The last confirmed sighting of Lars was captured on surveillance footage at the airport at 8:33 a.m. Since then, nobody has seen him. In the days following Lars's disappearance, a search effort was launched involving helicopters and hundreds of police. Divers searched the sea near the airport, focusing on a stretch of water where the plane's path would have flown directly over. They found nothing. Despite scouring the area extensively, the Bulgarian authorities were unable to locate any sign of Lars. Furthermore, the police investigation revealed no evidence of foul play or suspects. Lars's family were devastated. His mother, Christine, remained hopeful throughout the years, regularly appealing for information and offering a reward of 10,000 euros for any helpful tips. As of 2023, Lars's family still don't know what happened to him. There are many unanswered questions surrounding Lars's actions in the days leading up to his disappearance. Why did he stay in Bulgaria after his friends left? Why did he change hotels twice? And what caused his sudden burst of energy and strange behavior on the day of his disappearance? The scant communication between Lars and his mother provides some insight into his mental state, but not enough to fully explain his actions. When examining the circumstances surrounding Lars's disappearance, several theories have been proposed. The first theory centers around the idea that Lars experienced a psychotic episode triggered by the head injury he sustained during the altercation in the club. However, there is no evidence to support this claim. Psychotic episodes are typically associated with severe mental disorders, which Lars had never displayed signs of. Additionally, the head injury he sustained was minor and unlikely to cause such a dramatic reaction. Another theory proposes that Lars was the victim of a targeted attack. The text messages he sent to his mother suggest that he believed he was being followed and that something sinister was happening. In addition, his frantic behavior at the airport, such as abandoning his belongings and rushing for the exit, supports this notion. The possibility that Lars stumbled upon something he shouldn't have or witnessed a crime he wasn't supposed to see has also been raised. This theory is supported by his claim that he might have taken a drug that put you in a coma. It's possible that someone at the club slipped something into Lars's drink, causing him to lose consciousness and become vulnerable to trafficking. Human traffickers often target tourists for this reason. Traffickers may watch potential targets for days, studying their habits before making a move. Lars had mentioned being followed, and what his mother had initially assumed were hallucinations may have been accurate. If true, it's possible that Lars realized he was in danger and tried to flee. However, he would have required assistance to scale the 2-meter fence, indicating that whoever had followed him may have helped him get over. While these theories offer potential explanations for Lars's actions, none can definitively account for his bizarre behavior and ultimate disappearance. The last person to speak with Lars, Dr. Georgi Petrov, offers another perspective. He is the doctor on duty in the airport medical center. Lars entered the clinic alone and asked for help because he had injured his ear. According to the doctor, the injury didn't appear serious, and he prescribed medication and painkillers. Lars paid for the consultation and went on his way. Dr. Petrov dismisses the notion that Lars exhibited unusual behavior, stating that he didn't appear drunk, agitated, or panicked. He also rejected the theory that Lars had overdosed on drugs, noting that there were no signs of intoxication or altered mental state. Instead, the doctor believes that Lars's behavior on the day of his disappearance was entirely due to his physical discomfort. He said, "Imagine you have an earache and it throbs every time you walk. You wouldn't want to stay in the airport, right? You'd want to get out into the fresh air." It seems plausible that the pain from Lars's ear intensified after going through airport security, triggering his anxiety and causing him to act erratically. The situation became worse when he entered the sterile environment of the medical center. The doctor's prescription failed to alleviate Lars's discomfort. Soon, he was in unbearable agony. Unable to endure the pain, Lars abruptly fled, hoping to find relief in the open space outside. However, the doctor acknowledged that Lars should have sought treatment elsewhere, given his desperate state. He admitted that maybe he should have kept the patient longer or called the police. What do you think happened to Lars? Let me know your thoughts. And remember, if you like this case, check out my channel for similar videos. And as always, thanks for watching.